First of all, it's kind of strange coming in that side. I thought I was in a different room here for a second. But first of all, I just really appreciate the fans coming today, having Kids Day and the Kids Captain. That's a great opportunity. And Kids Captain's been a great concept, I think, for everybody involved. So really happy about that. And nice to have fans there. It's the first time the team's been down in Kinnick outside of the team picture. So that's good and that's special. And then, the weather cooperated on top of it. So all those things were really, I think, good things for us. And anytime we're back in Kinnick, that's a good deal. So, just real quickly, we've got 12 workouts done now. This is our 12th practice, and had a lot of good work. I think the attitude's been good. The guys have gone pretty hard. They've handled the heat. We've had a couple days that were really a little bit challenging that way, so that's been good. Like every camp, it's always a little frustrating because you have guys injured. You probably noticed today we had some guys in and out and some guys just out. So that's part of camp also, and it really affects our consistency. So that's probably been the number one issue, is just the consistency overall. And that's usually the way it goes first week of camp, and you saw some of that today as well. But on the positive side, I think we've had a lot of individual improvement, see a lot of growth in individual drills, group drills, see some progress, and then it seems like we come together as a team. That's where it's the hardest part, and that's what we'll have to build to that. And the other thing I'd just throw out, I think we've seen a lot of good things from our younger players, and some of the guys that were here last year, even in spring ball, and then certainly other guys that are new to the program. So that's been encouraging. And so as we stand here today, we move forward now. We got a really big week in front of us. We've got to keep our foot on the gas and improve individually, continue to do that. I think as a staff, we'll take some time after we look at the film tomorrow and start talking about getting the guys in the right spots for the right situations. We've got that in front of us, and you got to start pulling things together a little bit. And that'll be tough because we'll keep adding to what we're doing right now. We're really we've been fairly basic with the situations and the schemes that we've put in. So we'll continue to add this week, and then there's a multiple effect with that. So I want the guys to just relax today. Certainly tomorrow they'll get a lift in, and we'll watch the tape, learn from that, and then we'll start again on Monday. And I got a real important stretch. We've got 7 workouts basically in 5 days, and finish up Friday night. So with a big scrimmage, and then we'll regroup after that. So so far so good. I think we're pleased with what we've seen. Talk about injuries just real quickly. Really the only negative that I see there is we lost John Wisniewski. You probably noticed he had a brace on today. He's got a sprain. That's going to take a couple of weeks. It's more than days with him. And then Jake Hewlett, you might have noticed, had a cast on, so he's got a fracture. Didn't require surgery, but we're probably looking at least 4 to 6 weeks with that too. So those guys are not in the immediate picture. Everybody else, guys that weren't dressed, or the guys that were limited today, we expect them to be, I think, pretty close to full speed on Monday. So big week ahead. We've got a lot of work to do that way. I'll throw it out for questions.
All week long, there was a lot of discussion about C.J. Beathard and whether he was hurt or broke his hand or his knee or whatever. He was out there competing today. I mean, it was just a couple of days and a little knee thing, and that's why he's wearing a brace.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that, and it's probably a bigger group than we like to have, but one of the guys that had an injury. So, he missed a couple of days there. And, the good news is it gives us a good look to look at the other guys behind him and see them working with the ones. And fortunately, there's nothing major there. So, if it was a game today, he would have been playing full speed. But I did catch wind of that. I think yesterday morning, one of the guys in the office told me it was a broken ankle or something like that. It was kind of the buzz out there. So, be careful with these rumors, right? It's wise, the words of the wise on that one.
What have you learned at kicker so far? You threw a lot at him today, it looked like.
Yeah, today was really a good day. And maybe it hasn't looked as good in practice, but today I thought was a really good day for him. And I thought all 4 guys, saw some good things that way. And but I think this is one of the, we'll have to talk about it as a staff. And, at some point we're going to have to start to narrow it down a little bit. But right now I think our plan probably is to let the guys continue to compete this week, all 4 guys equally. And, just kind of make some judgments maybe after next Friday. But I was encouraged with what I saw today for sure. That was a positive step for us.
You don't definitively have any true freshmen that you want to play?
I won't say it today, but maybe next week I will. But I think it's fair to say we're going to play some guys. And that's been positive. It really the group came together back on June 13th. I think it was the first day with Chris, and once we settled down there a little bit, we had a little attrition right there the first week. But the group's really been good overall together. They've got a really good attitude. Did a nice job with their classwork. We just got grades yesterday, and just like the way they do some things. And it's kind of interesting, you see guys do things in the weight room or the summer program, and then you see them with football pads on. It's a little bit different. So saw some really positive things today, just, watching with on the field and eager to see the tape. And I think it's realistic to think that we'll have some guys playing and helping us out, hopefully in some certain situations.
Your quarterback wears a red jersey, and he ended spring with shoulder getting hit in practice, gets rolled up here. It doesn't say that you can't really ever really protect anybody, no matter what color jersey they wear, because things are competitive.
It's hard. Yeah, it's really hard. And, we've had that discussion. And, Kelvin's been an intern in a couple of different NFL camps. Everybody at every level has that issue and concern. And there's different ways to do it. But, at the end of the day, too, you still got to practice hard. And so you can't just have the guy in a bubble back there. Certainly we want guys not to take an unnecessary shot on a quarterback. But sometimes they get blocked into them or what have you, and things are going to happen. So, you got to be able to cross the street, right? You can't just live never crossing the street, and we'll keep practicing. But I think we're going to be okay there.
Sean Walsh was a little confusing to me. Looked like he was a second-team right guard at one point.
Yeah.
Is there anything going on there? You like James at center, or what's the?
Yeah, he's one of the guys. Like I said, you mentioned. I'll give you a couple names: Hockaday and Ojamato did like 7-on-7, and John Milani. But that's all they did. So Sean's been a little bit restricted too. He's had some stuff he's working through, and so I said we've had a handful. So the good news is that's giving James time to accelerate at center, and the way I'm looking at it, and Lucas LeGrand same way. So we'll just keep pushing forward with that. And James couldn't work at center in the spring, so Sean was our center. Now as we move forward, we'll keep an open mind, and it's kind of like our whole team right now. I'm pretty sure. He's going to be one of the 5. I'm not sure if he'll be guard, center, and vice versa with James, but I think both those guys will be starting, and we'll just kind of play it as we go.
What do you look for as far as why one would be a center and one would be a guard?
There's a couple things that factor into it. I could have made a real good argument in the spring for Sean. Now I can make one for James. You got a guy who'd be there for 3 years as opposed to 2, where you could say, hey, we want the seniority. The guy's more experienced playing there. So it's kind of like you're weighing a couple things back and forth. The good news is both of them are pretty capable at it, and that's that's a good thing. And because of Sean missing some time, James has gotten a lot of extensive work. And even Lucas today, we didn't have any real bad center exchange things, whether it's shotgun or under center. I wish I could have said that during the week. I mean, it's been hard to watch at times. Okay, so at least that was progress today. But that's part of the deal. We went through the same thing with Sean back in the spring. So that's one thing when you're breaking new guys into that position. It just makes you appreciate having somebody that's done it before.
Bobby was coaching the wide receivers with some pretty good, let's just say, urgency. You obviously need more and you want more, and I think Germany and Jay probably face a pretty, huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, and Jay, as you know, didn't practice today. He's missed some time, but the good news there is he came out of the gate and really did some good things. So up until his injury, and I think he'll be back Monday. So I think with those 3 guys, he was acting like an older guy. He kind of separated a little bit that way. And then after that, we got a lot of interesting competition going on, but seen some encouraging things, seen some things that have to be smoothed out a little bit, and that's where this week will really be big for some of those guys.
The tight end. Now that Wisniewski's out, and Kittle didn't play today.
Yep.
Where
So
you at there?
It's wide open, and kind of going back to that first year theme. We're wide open with at that position we have 2 first-year players on campus, and then. With Nate Weeding and Nate Vahota, get 2 guys that have been redshirted that are first-year players. So, it's given those guys a lot of chance to work. John's been out for a while now, and I think we have a pretty good feel for Peter. So we'll just keep pushing these guys and see what they do, and maybe carve some roles out, that type of thing. But we'll keep a really open mind at all positions, basically, no matter if the guy's a first-year freshman or a third-year guy that hasn't played much.
Looks like Tokes is maybe kind of edging toward the plans, or.
Tokes has looked good. He's looked good, and so the question with backs is, what's going to be like when they get tackled a little bit. Today's first day got tackled, and I thought he handled that really well. I thought he did a good job, and Torrin the same way. And Torrin's probably one of those players. The more contact involved, probably the better it is for him. He's not necessarily a combine guy, but I thought he ran good today and did some good some positive things too. So it'll be fun to watch these guys next week, both guys.
Two true freshmen who got in probably because guys were dinged up ahead of them. You know, Devontae Young and Amani Jones. They both seem to be, you know, real competitive out there and did some good things. I mean, are those two guys you think are in that ball game that maybe
Yeah,
could play?
you know, Amani's been he was a really spirited player. He's not 6'4", but he's not 5'8" either, although we had a pretty good 5'8" safety. But he just really impressed us the way he played in high school when it started probably a year ago, February. Former college coach and pro coach ran into me at a clinic back there a year ago, February, and really just kind of jumped on the box for Amani. So that got our attention. That's what put our sights on him, and the more we learned about him, the more interested we got. He's just he's kind of our kind of guy, and so he's doing some good things right now. He's got a lot to learn, but he's got a chance, I think. And DeMonte's gotten a lot of work with our guys with Jay being out, so he's gotten a lot of work, and I think he's handled himself well too. So I think it's realistic to think that he'll be in the mix, and we may have to move some guys around. You know, it's a discussion we're going to have here right now, but I could see him certainly playing in a couple of weeks here when we get started.
I don't